Hello, welcome to New Century here in Manchester. What a venue we have here for today's press conference. The likes of Jimi Hendrix, Pink, The Who, Bee Gees, you name it, they played. And today, we've got Andy Clark. What have you got, Andy?
Well, I did hear that the other Andy Scott, is going to open up the press conference with a song. He won't give away exactly what it is that he's going to do yet, but I want a bit of Vanilla Ice maybe would be my guess.
Can you imagine? That would absolutely...
I can. I'm imagining it now.
That would make my day and everyone else's here. It really is a special card for you on Saturday night. Savannah Marshall, she is jumping straight back into that fire, isn't she? Taking on Franchón Crews-Dezurn. All or nothing, this one. She's vying again to be undisputed. Just how tough a task does she have in front of her on Saturday night? And also, I guess she's got a bit of the demons maybe hanging over from the Claressa Shields. That can't be there.
Yeah, I think that's really the key element to it, because someone like Cruise-Dezurn is very, very confident, and you get the feeling that her confidence has grown and grown and grown as she's become champion, unified champion, undisputed champion. She knows who she is. She knows what she is as a fighter. I think she's a bit better technically than people give her credit for, but what she will look to do early is really get on top of you physically, and she can look a bit rough and ready, a little bit loose, a little bit open when she does that. She did that when she became undisputed against Ellen Cederroos, and Cederroos could never get her under control. And then in the second half of the fight, as she realised it was probably going to go the distance, she relaxed a bit more and boxed a bit more. So she is a formidable opponent. And Marshall has got to match her for the physicality and work rate. If she can do that, and the desire and hunger, if she can do that, then she has got the better boxing skills and she can bring them to bear. But you can only make them count when you match all of those other things. And that's the key to it, I think, really.
It's another massive moment for Savannah Marshall on Saturday night, because anyone wouldn't forgive, you forgive Savannah for having a warm-up fight, save from that loss from Claressa Shields before this one, but she is very much going straight back into it. Is this the right decision, the right move for her, do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I think she maybe feels against Claressa that she possibly didn't really do what she wanted to do, but...
I think she sort of said, isn't she, that perhaps the game plan didn't pay off, it wasn't the right tactics. She's kind of said that a little bit.
Yeah, she has. But I think a lot of that was to do with Shields. You always have to give credit to the winner, and Shields started quick. And Savannah didn't really have the opportunity, or didn't feel like she had she didn't really feel like she had the opportunity to do what she needs to do on Saturday, which is use that reach, use that jab, slam in that heavy 1-2, and get the respect of your opponent. And she really needed to do that against Shields. It didn't quite happen. It was competitive all the way through, but there was a clear winner. She's got to do it. She's got to do it on Saturday. But going straight back into a big fight, this is what we get from top-level women's boxing. And that's something that is very, very attractive about it, is that people are up for these challenges. Go up a weight, 8 pounds, that's a lot, no problem.
Talking of going up a weight, which Savannah Marshall is doing for this fight, do you think that could perhaps play into her favour? More power, more strength?
Definitely. I think you will see a better version of Savannah. I think Savannah knows where she let herself down in the Claressa Shields fight. Claressa Shields, an unbelievable fighter. That's proof she's the best out there. Savannah, I believe she had something more left in the tank. She chose her own tactics, and I'm quite sure she wins this fight. She will say, and they're talking about her and Claressa fighting again. She'll say, Claressa, come up to me, because this is where I'm comfortable at. This, I realise now how strong I wasn't. I realise how ineffective I was when we boxed down, and this is now my way. So I think, to me, it's more common sense for Savannah.
No, you did the Gloves Are Off. If you haven't watched it, watch it. It is a really, really absorbing watch. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. You obviously were in the room. We saw Franchón. She brought something else, didn't she, to the Gloves Are Off that we haven't seen necessarily before. But also I thought something different in Savannah came out as well, maybe a more humble version of Savannah. What do you reckon? It
was a more measured version of Savannah. I think what she learned from the Shields, again, every win and loss you learn something. She learned that, I'm going to do what I do. She made some wild boasts there, and I think she's an honest enough pro to not lie about what her capabilities are. And I don't think she felt comfortable with not backing up her boast of what she was going to do. So it was like she was happy to say, you know what, let's just let the fighting do the talking. Cruise-Dezurn, she goes in the ring like a fighter, even though she's champion.
She's got the hunger, isn't she, still there?
Chip on her shoulder. And that's actually, as a champion, that's actually a great attribute to go in there to think this isn't enough what I've got. So it still makes it dangerous. And this is a lot more even than what people think. And because she basically said, don't be making plans for Clarissa after me. What makes you think you'll get past me? And Savannah's just like, she's calm, she's measured. All right, we'll see how it is. And I think she's now at peace with herself. The one thing that kind of stood out to me was she said, I belong at this level. Which means if she loses, she's an honest enough pro to say, you know what, if I can't compete at the level I belong at, I don't want to know. And that's why the headline's right there, you know, and that's why it's all or nothing for her. And I get that. I get what the kind of pressure she's putting herself under. Right now, I've not seen Beauty Fury all week. And it
that's not necessarily negative, is it?
It's not negative. Brendan did that with me when I boxed once. And I want you to go up there yourself, show your confidence, go in there, let them all talk, let them all think what's going on. They know Peter doesn't need to be here. His work's done until it comes to the weigh-in and it comes to the fight itself. But I think it's a great look that she's turned up as though now I'm by myself. Underestimate me, you know. Think that I'm coming here with a loser's mentality. I think it's a great move. But again, I think Savannah. I think she pulls it off this time. I really do.
Someone like Franchón Crews-Dezurn, just to put into context of the whole package that is Cruise-Dezurn. Not only is she the fighter, she self-promotes, doesn't she? She sings, she's a musician, she's got a fashion label. She really does have a whole lot going on. But as just Johnny said there, it's quite interesting that she's almost coming with that sort of challenger mentality with that.
Yeah, and that's where she needs to be. That's how she keeps herself mentally where she needs to live, to have that edge, basically. And she's been boxing for a long time. She was on Team USA for a long time. And actually that was quite hard for her, because just when it looked like her time was going to come, the 17-year-old Claressa Shields arrived and took her Olympic place. Yeah. That's what happens. And that's hard. And she's had to live with that. And then she was going to stay for Tokyo, but got an offer to fight Shields on her pro debut. Again, you know, this person is still here in my space, making things difficult for me. And
lost the Shields on the debut.
Yeah, and lost the Shields on her debut, and she decided to turn pro. So she's had to show quite a lot of mental fortitude in her personal life as well, with her mum. She was caring for her mum for a long time, and then she finally passed away, I think, 2 weeks before her pro debut. So there's been a lot of adversity. She's got a very tight working relationship, a personal relationship, obviously, with her husband, who's going to lead the corner. Barry Hunter has trained her in Washington, but he couldn't make it. It's not a thing. I spoke to the team yesterday. But you can't help but admire her, basically. And yeah, she does have that kind of siege mentality. And she obviously feels that mentally there is a weakness there with Savannah. But lots of people have thought that. And it might have been true in the amateur days, but I don't really think that it's true now. In fact, I don't know what Johnny thinks about it, but I feel like it can now be a strength, because people continue to underestimate her just because of how she is. And she doesn't really react. She's very relaxed. She's very calm. And no matter how many times she proves that she's not that person, I think people still look at her during fight week and just think, yeah, there's a weakness there, when I don't think there really is one.
Well, I think it's because, say, when she lost to Claressa Shields, a lot of fighters, you see a lot of noise, wouldn't you, on social media and things like that. But for Savannah, I think she just took herself away, didn't she? Just sort of almost locked herself away to deal with it privately. And
her, as I say again, Peter Fury's not here. He's not here to hold her hand, because he knows she can handle this pressure now. So it doesn't matter what we think, it's what they know. She knows that, you know, I'm only fully right now. Underestimate you at your own peril. And I think she learned so much from the loss to Clarissa. It might have been the best thing for her to get to that next stage in her career. That fight will happen again as long as she wins. But I think it's matured her so much.
The two have actually fought each other back in 2011, didn't they? A test event. Savannah just being on points, but that was a long time ago. We spoke a lot, didn't we, in the lead up to the Shields Marshall fight, the fact that they'd fought each other previously in the amateurs, and really, because it was such a long time ago, you can't really, Johnny, read too much into it, I guess.
Clearly the amateurs suited Savannah more than it did Clarissa and Cruise-Dezurn. So the one thing they can take out of that is that Cruz is rough, she's rugged. She's going to try and drag Savannah into her kind of fight. In the amateurs, they end up rolling around on the floor. The referee had to pull them apart. So Savannah knows that she's going to try and drag it down into the gutter. If Savannah uses her boxing skills, which she has, if Savannah uses her smarts, uses her brains, and uses her maturity, she should outbox Cruise-Dezurn. She should do that. but it's about mental strength and mental discipline and the correct game plan.
How do you think Savannah beats Franchón Crews-Dezurn?
Yeah, just that. You know, she's got this long reach. She can really crack as well. You know, you don't get that many knockouts in women's pro boxing because of the 2-minute rounds, but she's got 10 out of 12 wins, and we saw what she did to Hermans. You know, she dropped her cold, and not many people can do that. But she's
and
got
with the extra weight, more power.
Yeah, and it's the reach and the distance and the nice looseness that she's got. Cruise-Dezurn, like Johnny said, will come in. She'll look to dip off to the left-hand side, throw a big right hand over the top. Whether it lands or not, that takes her into a perfect position to just throw a big kind of winging left hook, and that's what she'll look to do early, particularly. And you've got to be able to stop her on the way in, and that means a solid jab, 1-2. Give yourself the space, and that's about composure more than anything else. When you've got somebody rushing you like that, but there's a bit more science to it with Franchón Crews-Dezurn than maybe the looks like there is. With the amateur thing, it's ages ago, and so it's not really relevant, but I do think that Franchón kind of makes it relevant because her...
You do still feel like in her head there is a score to be settled, and this is her opportunity. And
she's, I think, created an injustice as well. Like, I heard her say, well, you know, I deserve to win that fight, and it cost me my Olympic place. That's not really true, because she then lost to Claressa Shields in the US Olympic
But it's all
trials.
stirring the pot, isn't it?
In her head, Savannah Marshall unjustly got a decision against me because it was in London, and that cost me my Olympic place. You know, that's what she's done with it. So for her, I think it does matter.
It's creating another narrative, isn't it, leading up to this? And we're going to have Claressa Shields working with us this weekend, which is going to be interesting. Obviously, Claressa, I'm sure, will be here supporting Cruise-Dezurn. But how do you think Savannah will feel having her with us, having her ringside? Do you think that will be anything in her head, or will she just have to block it out? Or do you think it'll affect her?
Well, first of all, me and Claressa had a little side bet, and I lost.
Did you? How much was that? How much are you talking?
I don't think it's polite.
Is this a lot of money? Is this a lot of money? Okay.
So I'm quite
You're
sure,
basically going to be hiding the whole weekend.
I'm quite sure she's going to call me out. But I think for Savannah, the eyes are on the prize. She knows what she's got to do. She knows to concentrate on the fighter in front of her, but she knows there's a prize right there in a rematch against somebody that she thought was a better fighter on the night, not the better fighter completely. And I think Claressa breaks it down well. Claressa has 2 hats she's wearing. She wants to see a friend fighting Cruise-Dezurn, but she also wants to see and build up the potential of her Marshall fighting, and of course to collect her winnings from me.
Yeah, there'll be that rematch down the line that she'll have in her head as well that she'll want. But we know Claressa's such a big force, don't we? She won't be quiet. She'll be...
To doubt her success, to doubt who she is. She's the greatest female boxer currently active right now. And we've got to go with that. No matter what, like it or not, that is fact.
Before we get over to the Undercard press conference, just a word on Tasha Jonas, because she's obviously vying to become a 2-weight world champion, taking on Kandi Wyatt. Not an easy opponent in front of her. Joe Gallagher's been saying, you know, this is a dangerous test for Tasha.
Yeah, you can't sleep on anyone, and because she's had 3 unsuccessful attempts at the minute, as Joe was saying yesterday, Tasha had 2 herself. So you know how hungry somebody is. She might feel like this could be her last chance or one of her last chances, and that's what you have to take into account. But again, there's a skill differential between the two. Kandi Wyatt is strong, she's tough. She took plenty of stick off Jessica McCaskill before the referee finally stopped it, but she's quite slow, she's quite stiff. Tasha's boxing skills are vastly superior.
And experience.
And she needs to use them. Don't stand in front of her, keep her turning, keep her moving, and she should be able to get this job done. And with a fight coming, we think, between McCaskill and Sandy Ryan for all of the other belts, then we've got a potential all-British clash for Undisputed, which would be great.
Yeah, that would be brilliant. OK, let's get our Undercard press conference underway.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to New Century. Today's site for the official press conference as we head towards a great night of boxing live from the AO Arena in Manchester. Thank you to the members of media joining us today, and thank you to our viewers joining us on Sky Sports. Less than 1 year after Boxer and Sky put together the biggest night in the history of women's boxing by uniting the market and countries from all over the world, they aim to do it again, as we see another night of undisputed championship boxing come to the United Kingdom here in Manchester. We would like to thank our headline partner, Bet365, and our official partners, Everlast, Village Hotels, and Wow Hydrate. Over 10 belts will be represented this Saturday, multiple of which will be on the line. And we begin with the Undercard press conference today. I want to welcome Savage Dan, the host of today's press conference, on stage. Joining Savage Dan is also Ben Shalom, the CEO and head of Boxer and the promoter of this historic event. I want to introduce the fighters that are joining us on stage to answer some questions and possibly talk a little bit of trash for all you viewers joining us. First, a rematch in the super welterweight division. First from Penn's Net, please welcome Kirsty Bavo Bavington. And from Liverpool, her opponent, April Hunter. We next see a super middleweight battle between two great prospects. First, from Scotland, please welcome Boris Crichton. And from Barnsley, South Yorkshire, please welcome the undefeated Central Area Champion, Callum Simpson. Up next is a contest for the vacant Commonwealth Silver Super Middleweight Championship. First, from Chorley, please welcome the undefeated WBO Global Super Middleweight Champion, Mark Jeffers. And from Fulham, London, the current reigning English champion, Zach Chelly. And now a contest in the light heavyweight division. First, from Ireland by way of Slovakia, with 13 wins, 9 of which by knockout. Please welcome Big Bad Vladimir Belushki. And his opponent from Darlaston, West Midlands, the Olympic silver medalist, the undefeated, and the ever so slightly flashy, the surgeon, Ben Whittaker. And our chief support Saturday night for the vacant IBF Welterweight Championship. First, from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. She is the current WBA Intercontinental Champion and the former undisputed challenger, Kandi Crush Wyatt. And now, rounding out this press conference, first from Liverpool. Just last year, she collected 3 world titles. Now going for her 4th in a row, the first ever woman to be named British Boxer of the Year. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Natasha Jonas. Savage Dan, Ben Shalom, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Big Mo. Welcome, everybody, to Manchester. Another historic night of boxing awaits us at the AO Arena on Saturday. This card has everything. It has rematches, debuts, grudge matches, world titles, and an undisputed fight at top of the bill. Let me bring in Boxer's promoter, Ben Shalom. Ben, it was unfortunate to lose the Eubank Smith fight, but is this card a show of the depth that is available at Sky?
Yeah, I think it shows a strength in women's boxing. I think when a box office fight like that falls out, there's only a handful of fighters in the whole of the country that can headline any arena in it, and Savannah Marshall is one of those fighters. Headlined at the O2 in one of the most historic events we've seen in boxing history, and now headlines in the Manchester Arena in a second undisputed fight. Tasha Jonas also hoping to become a 2-weight world champion. It's going to be a special night in Manchester. Over 8,000 tickets already sold in Savannah Marshall's in Manchester, which is even Savannah's hometown. So a big night on Saturday night and a huge card as well.
Let's meet the fighters. First, let's go to April Hunter and Kirsty Bavington. Kirsty, I'll come to you first. Last time out, you took the fight at 4 days' notice and you caused an upset. What's your recollection of that fight?
I won, and that's it. It's going to be a repeat on Saturday. I'm going to end April's career, and that's it. Shut her mouth once and for all. So I pull this mouth over social media and just get it done, get the job done, repeat.
It seems more personal this time. Why?
I think it's just a disrespect. Since it's been 2 years, I don't know how it can be a rematch. We've offered it how many times now? So
I've never been offered it once. And you're on about ending my career. Your career's practically finished. You had European titles stripped off you for boxing that badly, and you didn't land a punch on Lauren Price. So I think you just
listen. I've had big fights compared to you. You're a joke. You're a joke to the sport. You're a poor role model. You shake someone's hand when you've had a loss. I've lost. Who cares? Get on with it. You move on. Shake hands. Move on. You had a tantrum and ran off.
You're a bit salty, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's going to be a repeat on Saturday. Your career's over.
We'll see. We'll see Saturday.
April, you've obviously wanted this rematch for a while. How hard was it to get it?
I don't understand. I've never been offered this rematch once. I've been asking for this
Yeah,
for a
because
long
your team
time.
don't let you know anything. They don't want you on the show.
I think they would. I think they'd let us know. They don't want us on the show. What are you on about? I'm surprised you're a teacher because you can barely speak. You can barely understand it. What are you even talking about?
Since that loss, you've gone on to have 2 good wins. You're with Peter Fury. How have you improved as a fighter?
I've improved in every aspect. I've got all the tools in the box to beat Kirsty on Saturday night. I just need to get in there, relax, listen to me coach Peter, and that's that.
Kirsty, you said that in your last fight you were a little bit flat. I'm guessing the fire's lit for this one. There's no danger of that.
No, I'm ready for this one. Yeah, a little bit flat, obviously. You know, I'm boxing Lauren Price, I'm boxing big fights. So, yeah, I did feel a little bit flat, but I've been active. Like, I've had a lot of fights, so I just want to make sure, like, the energy's there for this one. It's a bit personal, so different kind of energy, yeah.
April, how much did that loss hurt you? And what changes have you made and do you have to make to beat Kirsty this time?
Well, it's never nice to lose, is it? But Kirsty's getting in with a completely different person on Saturday night, and she got in that last fight. No excuses, but listen, I'm a different fighter. I'm super fit, I'm super strong, and I'm ready to give her a hell of a night on Saturday night.
So why did we box at our actual weight then, if you're super fit?
But that's the thing,
Why
the weight was
have
a
I got to
problem
go
last
weight
time.
to get the fight
That was a problem
done?
making the weight. That was the whole problem, that's why I was drained. So,
I mean, we boxed at a completely different weight on the last one. Why can't we make that this time?
because it's hard for us to make the weight, that's the whole point. Peter doesn't want us boxing at welter. That's why I'm at super welter. What can't you comprehend? Where's your brain at, man?
I feel like this is heating up quite nicely. Any final words to each other?
Nah, I just hope she's ready on Saturday night, because I am.
I'm more than ready. I'm ready to end you.
Couldn't end anything. She couldn't knock the skin off a rice pudding. You can barely punch her. What are you actually ending?
Well, that's a good way to start a press conference, I guess. Next, let's go to Callum Simpson and Boris Crichton. Boris, you've been busy this year already. This will be your fourth fight. But it's a big ask. You're up against Callum. How do you beat him?
I don't really think it's a big ask, to be fair. I've been in this position before. Change is nothing. He's a fighter that's never been hit before. He's not been above 4 rounds. We'll see what happens when he gets past that 4th round, the 6th round, the 8th round, and he starts to really feel that pace. We'll see when he feels what it's like when he gets hit. So it's not really much of a puzzle to solve.
You came in at 1 day's notice against Lyndon Arthur, and you gave a very good account of yourself. This time you've had longer to prepare. Does that give you added confidence?
The confidence I had to take a fight in 1 day's notice changes nothing. The confidence is exactly the same. The fact that I can take a fight in a day's notice, and I've got 6 weeks camp, of course it's going to make me confident, but it changes nothing. A fight is a fight. I was fit then, I'm fit now. Let's go.
How much of Callum have you watched? What are his strengths, his weaknesses? What do you have to do?
There's nothing there that impresses me when I watch it. There's nothing there that I particularly think I have to worry about. Like I said, it's not about watching him, it's about seeing who he's fought. And he's fighting bus drivers and guys that work at call centers. They're not hard to beat. He's a super middleweight that's fought 2 middleweights in his last 2 fights. There's just really nothing there. When he gets in with the ring with a real super middleweight, then we'll find out.
Callum, Boris has a habit of handing unbeaten fighters their first loss. What do you have to do to make sure that you get your hand raised on Saturday?
Listen, everything that Boris is saying is music to my ears, you know. Saying he's not got a puzzle to solve, I've not fought no one, is going to know about it on Saturday. And
you haven't fought anyone.
Yeah, you're right.
You're right. It's not true.
No, you're correct. But everything you're saying is music to my ears, and I think I was excited for this fight to begin with, and I'm even more excited now. You know, yeah, he stepped in on a day's notice against Lyndon Arthur, but I'm no Lyndon Arthur. And the thing for me is, yeah, my last 9 fights have not gone past 3 rounds, like 5 in the first round. And it's for a reason. Look at the other people that fought them guys, and they weren't getting them out there. They were taking in the full 4-8 rounds or however many rounds they were going. And yeah, so I think, like I said, I'm not being hit. I was outside Batibia for 6 weeks, did over 30 rounds with the hardest puncher at light heavyweight. And, you know, I've been asked to go back again, so I think that just shows for itself. But, you know, I've got a lot to prove on Saturday, and I believe I'm going to do that.
Last time out, we saw you blast through Celso Neves. You looked super sharp yesterday at the public workout. Do you feel like you've got some good momentum right now?
Yeah, I've got good momentum, but, you know, them fights, this is now. And, you know, we've watched Boris, we've seen what he's about, and I think he's in big trouble on Saturday.
Expecting a big turnout from the Barnsley faithful?
Yeah, as always, yeah, you know, it's building every fight. My support's building every fight. So, yeah, there's plenty coming over to watch me knock him out.
Looking at the year ahead, you know, not trying to look past Boris, but what do you want to achieve this year?
By the end of this year, I want this title. Is that the English? By the end of this year, I want that title at least. Maybe the British will see.
Ben, it's a demand there. He wants the English, but he has a big test on Saturday night.
Yeah, I remember we had a lot of people in our team telling me to sign Callum Simpson for a long, long time, and we managed to get it over the line eventually. We have a fully fledged professional that's learned his craft on the small hall and has the ability and the talent and the superstar potential to go right to the top of the division. I think Boris Crichton shows the intention they have within the camp. This is a serious opponent for Callum at this stage of his career, and he'll be looking to put on a performance, but he wants to go right to the top of the division. Obviously, he's got Zach Chelly next to him as well, but Callum's got to get through Saturday night. It's going to be a tough fight, and Boris has been extremely active recently, and I expect to see the best Boris Crichton as well.
You mentioned Zach Chelly there. Let's go next to our wild card fight, which is Zach Chelly against Mark Jeffers. Zach, I'll come to you first. You were originally scheduled to fight Mark Heffron, and you seem to be very unlucky when it comes to getting opponents in the ring. Do you just feel like you're the most avoided super middleweight?
Yeah, well, I guess so. Laurent Richards first, now Mark Heffron. I wonder who's next. But I'd like to say thank you for Mark Jeffers for taking the fight. Don't want to scare you away, so hopefully we'll have a great fight. Yeah. I'll do my trash talking in the ring.
Mark, this is an interesting one because although it looks like people don't want to fight Zach, you are somebody that's wanted this fight for quite a while. Why do you want to fight Zach Chelly?
Yeah, it's a massive opportunity. I think a lot of people inside boxing know exactly what I'm about, so to get a win on Saturday, push me right to the top. British level, definitely.
You're from Manchester, you'll have the home fans. Does that give you an edge, an advantage in this fight?
Obviously, yeah, I'm taking about 250, but it's just me and Zach in there. We've got a great game plan. I know exactly what to do, and people are going to see exactly how good I am on Saturday night.
Zach, you were the underdog going in against Anthony Sims Jr. You ripped up the script, dominated him. At this time, do you feel like you can just beat anybody that's placed in front of you?
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, he has a plan. Anthony Sims had a plan. Jermaine Brown had a plan. Jack Kilgannon had a plan, but I always destroy their plan. When I go into a fight, I go with plan A to Z. Whatever they bring, I'll adapt, and I'm sure you've seen that many times.
He can switch stances, he's slick, he's unbeaten. Where's this fight won and lost for you?
Well, look how many people whose virginity I've taken from the boxing world, you know what I mean? I've taken so many O's. Nearly half of my records, I've fought undefeated fighters, and I've taken their O, so I'll see the same again.
Mark, you've been in the ring and sparred the likes of Liam Smith, Callum Smith. Even for this camp, you've sparred Callum Simpson. Boxing's all about momentum, and right now, do you just feel like it's your time?
Yeah, I boxed about 6 weeks ago. Was meant to be fighting in 2 weeks, so listen, I'm always in the gym, I'm always ready. And when Mick rang me up, when was it, about 2 weeks ago, I said straight away, get this fight before somebody else takes it. I know, like I said, win this. I'm to some big things.
Zach, it's clear you'll fight anybody, but not anybody will fight you. We've ended up with a good fight, maybe a fight we weren't expecting, but do you have a message for the British title holder, Mark Heffron?
What I was going to say, yeah, on Saturday it'll be a different Mark, same story, and then we'll move it whenever he's ready. Hopefully September, it'll be the same story as what I'll do to Mark on Saturday.
Ben, it seems every time... Dad over there clapping. It seems every time Zach's in a fight, it's a good fight, and it's always a wild card fight, and we have another one on Saturday.
Yeah, Zach Chelly is a dream to work with, to be honest. He lets us choose any opponent we want. He doesn't blink, and he'll take anyone. But Mark Jeffers as well, I remember meeting him a few years ago with his dad, and he's been training with Michael Jennings for a long time now. This is a serious fighter. This is a serious fighter with a great support, that wants to go right to the very top. So to take this on 2 weeks against possibly the best super middleweight in the country right now is a serious statement of intent. I think this can be fight of the night. I think Zach Chelly needs to recognise that he's in a serious fight here on Saturday night, and may the best man win.
Next, let's go to a man that needs no introduction. Every time he fights, we're waiting for something special to happen. It's Ben Whittaker against Vladimir Beluski. Let me go to Vladimir first. Vladimir, you have a hard job ahead of you. Everyone knows how skillful and how difficult and tricky Ben Whittaker is, but how do you win this fight?
How do I win this fight? Just have to catch him and hopefully hurt him and put him away. It's the only way to win this fight.
He's tricky, but you've seen it all. You're well-travelled. Does he possess anything that worries you, or do you have to get in there and use that experience and be rough with him?
No, I know he's a good fighter. You know, he's very skillful, but all it takes is one punch. So we'll see what happens on Saturday.
Ben, all it takes is one punch. Nobody's landed it yet. Good to see you back. You've been a pro for around a year now. How has your assessment of your first year as a professional been?
Hey Vlad, thank you very much, man. I'm thankful you're honest. You know, it only takes one punch, but sadly that won't happen. But the way my career has gone so far, I'm very happy. I'm moving at the right pace. And Saturday, again, you'll see why I'm special.
How's this camp been for you? What have you added to your arsenal? What do you want to show us on Saturday?
Yeah, we've been working a lot on reaction time, me and Sugar, so we've been playing a lot of Call of Duty, you know, a lot of PlayStation. My fingertips are ready, and you'll see Saturday.
What happens in the ring is most important, of course, but you're a showman outside of the ring. Can we expect any special ring walks or just any added bling?
Hey, well, I'm a man of the Lord, so everybody in here, I know everybody's crafted by the Lord himself, but when it comes to me, I know they took some time on me. And Saturday, you'll see why I'm special. I've got the ring walk ready, the kit ready, my hair's ready. You see the jewels on me as well. It's only right I shine.
Your coach loves knockouts. You love knockouts. Are you expecting a stoppage win on Saturday night?
You don't get paid for overtime. I want to be back in the hotel by the time Savannah's in the ring, if I'm honest, so that's what I'm looking to do.
Ben, you've got a superstar in your hands here. It's going to be really hard to keep the training wheels on him and hold him back. He's still young, he's still a novice pro, but he's a promoter's dream, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. I think as well as that, he's an elite fighter. I think there was a lot of talk at the start of his professional career as to whether we look at super middleweight or light heavyweight, but since his injury, the way he's come back physically, he's a different specimen now. He's every bit a light heavyweight and a big light heavyweight. He's not only the showman, but he's going to go right to the very top of his division, and it's just a matter of time. We want him to be an absolute superstar by the time he gets here. It's important that people see him fight. It's important that he's in every single home in the country. I think this is a guy that can bring new fans to the sport of boxing. I truly believe that. It's going to be a big journey ahead. It's going to be a long journey ahead, but he just needs to stay active, keep doing what he's doing, and he's going to have those big nights to come.
Next up is our chief support, and it is world title business. Natasha Jonas takes on Kandi Wyatt. Kandi, I spoke to you yesterday. You seemed cool, calm, focused at the public workout. How has camp been?
Camp has been great. I trusted in my team. I just showed up to the gym and did what they told me every day, and I had a great camp. I'm in a great spot physically, great spot mentally, ready to throw hands on Saturday.
This will be your fourth attempt at a world title. Fourth time lucky?
Yeah, fourth time's a charm. Is that a thing? Fourth world title attempt. I'm super excited. Like I said, I'm in a really good spot, and I'm very excited to be here. I really enjoy fighting in England, so just ready to go on Saturday.
You'll have no doubt watched a lot of Natasha. What does she do well, and what can you exploit?
Tasha is a very tidy boxer, very fundamentally sound, which is going to be fun. Ways to exploit it, maybe I can try to make the fight a little bit messy for her, make it a little bit more difficult for her to keep that tidy, tight boxing.
Natasha, it's been a crazy 18 months. This will be your chance to pick up a 4th world title, another weight division. Could you have dreamed of anything quite like this?
I don't think so. Yeah, it looks so far away at one stage, and you know, a credit to Ben, to boxing, to Sky, everything that he said when I signed that first contract, he's done. So yeah, we're here. It's been a frustrating start to 2023, but we're here. We've got the date, and it's happening on Saturday, and I'm just happy to be in the ring and get the ring rust off.
Manchester is a city that you seem to do really well in. I'm not sure how good of a thing that is because you're from Liverpool, but it seems to be a place where you give some really good performances. What is it about that AO Arena that kind of brings out the best in you?
I think it's close to home. You know, it's only 40 minutes down the motorway. We get a lot of Scousers in here. I'm an honorary man coming from Champs Camp, and that's not good to say as a Scouser, but I am. And yeah, I think 2 out of my 3 titles last year was won here, so it's got good memories. You know, I perform well, I like putting on a show, and I like performing. And to be fair, I've been in Kandi's position where, you know, well, I was 3. It was my third time lucky, and it happened for me. But I've got to make sure I do everything right so it doesn't happen for her.
You've been campaigning at Super Welter. We're now back down at Welter. Is this a more natural weight for you?
Yeah, if you look at me, the weigh-ins at Super Welter, I was never anywhere near the 154 limit. You know, I was 149 with my clothes on. So yeah, it's been very comfortable. I feel comfortable. You know, I'm still eating, I'm still drinking. That's a bonus.
What does Kandi bring to the table? You know, there's not that much to see of her online, but what kind of fight are you expecting?
I'm expecting her to bring it. You know, I've seen the fights with Bav, McCaskill, Lina Dartu, and another southpaw. She's tough, she's durable, she'll keep coming, she'll keep throwing shots. And I've just prepared myself for the best version of her, and I'll present the best version of me, and the best woman will win.
Give us a prediction. On Saturday, does Natasha Jonas become a 2-weight world champion?
She always does. You know, I don't like predictions, but she always does.
Ben, 4 world titles in 18 months is crazy to think of, but you've played a huge part here in delivering these opportunities.
I wouldn't say a huge part, just a little.
No, just a bit.
No, it's been an incredible journey. I think Natasha signed, when she signed to us, she was a lightweight, and we went up to super welterweight because that's just a way where the opportunities came. Won 3 world titles, incredible Fighter of the Year last year, but to now go to somewhere she feels more natural at is even more exciting. I think every time she fights, she seems to get better and better, and now to be in the welterweight division where perhaps there are bigger fights, there are bigger names. Even at super lightweight, I could see Natasha potentially becoming a 3-weight world champion now, which, looking back, we were just delighted to get that 1 world title. So yeah, amazing journey. Could be another emotional night on Saturday night, but yeah, she's got a lot to do on Saturday, and that's where the focus has to be. And thank you to Kandi Wyatt as well, because it's another world title on the card.
That is all from our undercard presser. The fighters are going to come down, do some head-to-heads, and then we will be back for the top of the bill press conference.
I wish, Johnny Nelson, the camera was just on you then. You just commando rolled across the stage.
It wasn't very delicate, was it? I thought it was like an earthquake.
Graceful, he was not, Andy.
No, it wasn't, but that was great because every fight on that card, on the undercard, they all had something to say. April Hunter and Kirsty Babington got it off to a very lively start.
That seems like a genuine rivalry right there. There's genuine bad blood between those two.
Yeah, I think so, because Babington beat her the first time. She feels like she didn't really get the respect that she deserved for that. She feels like April Hunter has had things handed to her, whereas she's done things the hard way. It's a tried and trusted narrative, but you know, you can see the spite there in Babington. It's just oozing out of every pore of her, to be honest with you. Callum Simpson and Boris Crichton. Boris Crichton is a good fighter. He was a really good amateur. A few more breaks and he could have gone to some major tournaments. And the fact that he's taking these fights in the away corner, he's doing it because he knows that's how to get into the home corner. But he feels like he's good enough to get that backing and get that recognition. Callum Simpson looks great.
There's a bit of hype around Callum Simpson, isn't there? There's a lot of talk around Callum Simpson. He's unbeaten in 11, 9 of those have come inside the distance. Johnny, what have you made of him so far?
I think it's a really good test for Callum Simpson. I think every start he's had to grow a little bit. I've seen this young man before Sky Box got hold of him. I thought he's a talented young fighter, but he needs at his test. And slowly but surely, I think this is a perfect fight for him at this stage in his career. We need to see his sharps, his boxing ability, his discipline, his cool under pressure. He knows potentially he could be a domestic star at least in the making. So he can't let slip. He's got to make sure he learns in every aspect of this, because this is a tough fight for him.
What kind of problems do you think could Boris Crichton pose for him?
He's just a good all-round fighter, Boris. I think something that he maybe struggles with a little bit in his last fight against Steve Woodall, which I thought was really close, was that he just wasn't really able to go through the gears. He can be a little bit too reactive than proactive. I think what he wants
could Callum bring that out in him?
Yeah, I think so. What he wants to do from what he said up there, Boris, is test out Callum Simpson's chin. And he absolutely must, because with any fighter on the rise, maybe the last thing you find out is whether they've got a solid chin or not. Everything else with Callum Simpson looks great, but that's the one thing we don't know yet. And I spoke to the team yesterday, and they said, oh, yeah, he's got a great chin. And I just think, well, you would say that. Let's see what happens when someone cracks him with 10 ounces.
Proof needs to be in the pudding, doesn't it?
Yeah, always. And that's just a fact of, this is a game we're in. You know, it's hard, it's brutal at times. And can you take a shot, from someone who can whack a bit? That's a big question that always needs to be answered. And to be honest with you, as cold as it sounds, as observers, we need to see it.
Callum knows, though, a win for him, and say he wins in style as well, he knows there could be some big nights coming his way up north, and that's really what he wants. He wants to recreate, I guess, what Chris Billensmith, the likes of people like him, have done down in Bournemouth. Could you see that happening? Johnny, what would the buzz be like up in South Yorkshire?
Barnsley needs a star, especially a fighting star coming from... If you're a fighting man from Barnsley, they love a good scrap, and if they've got somebody, a fighter they can follow and support, his support will be massive. And of course, you're looking at the Yorkshire history of boxing. He wants to be part of that. The football's
present company accepted.
Oh yeah, forget about me. You've got to think about the pressure that he wants to that is heaping on his shoulders, and he loves that. He wants this to be about him. He's a good-looking kid, talks well, presents himself well, can fight, loves fighting. Now it's just the acid test. That's all the things he's got to get through now, because I think he can deal with the pressure. They're no nonsense in Barnsley, so they won't treat him any different.
What about these two? I mean, they're getting right down to it here, the face-off. Heads are going in, Johnny. Do you think the danger in this one is perhaps emotions? I mean, look at them now. It's spilling over. Could the danger be keeping those in check on Saturday night? I'll come to you, Andy, for that.
Yeah, I think what Babington's doing here is that she's trying to get into April Hunter's head, because Babington's an experienced fighter. I think this from her it's a little bit for show. I think it is genuine. I think she genuinely dislikes April Hunter, but I think she thinks that she can rattle her by doing that. That Hunter might bite, and that she'll be the one who fights too much on emotion. I don't see that happening from Babington. She's too experienced for that, but I think she maybe sees a weakness in Hunter on that regard.
Has Babington got under Hunter's skin, do you think, just there?
Yes, she has, because she walked back there with a big smile on her face.
She knows exactly what she's doing.
Exactly what she's doing. And you've got some fighters that they fight with the heart on the sleeve. Hunter's one of those fighters, and you can say things, you can do things. Even when she does an interview, what she says, she talks from the heart. So you've got to get under the skin to the point where you're really rattling them and winding them up. Babington's got that. She knows exactly what she's got to do.
Callum Simpson, Boris Crichton, little bit of verbal back and forth between these two. Can only imagine what's being said. What do you think this is going to come down to, Johnny, tomorrow night?
It's going to come down to boxing skill. Callum Simpson knows he wants to stand there and try and intimidate him, and And his opponent's thinking, you know what, that's not going to work. I'll do my talk in the ring. But Simpson can fight, and he's very, very confident as well. To say it's a testing, I think it's probably one of his toughest tests in his professional career.
Zach Shelley coming onto the stage, he takes on Mark Jeffers, who's taken this at a pretty short notice, 2 weeks' notice, but from what we've just heard there, Jeffers is not bothered about that. He's wanted this fight for some time now, Andy.
Yeah, he has. I had quite a long chat with him yesterday, and he won a Central Area title a while ago, a WBO ranking belt. Then he was out for a year with a shoulder problem, came back a few weeks ago, turned pro at 18, no senior experience. But they rate him, and they really fancy their chances here. They really do. And
that comes across that he's very much using this as his opportunity to shine and grab that limelight.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. He said he was ready for a fight in a couple of weeks, and he's one of these just fitness lunatics. He was telling me yesterday how, he's done a 100k run at one point from his house to the Lake District and back in 11 hours, a 200-mile bike
That's
ride.
impressive.
Stuff like that. His siblings, Cameron and Emma, his brother and sister, are pro cyclists. This is where that's the kind of cloth that he's cut from. But Shelley's used to this. I love his career because he's taken on challenges all the way through.
And he's got momentum behind him as well. He's on a bit of a roll. He had a good 2022, didn't he? We wanted to continue that this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And he can look a bit ungainly. He doesn't always look technically that refined, but he's hard to handle. I think you look at him in preparation and feel like there's flaws there that you can home in on, but then when you get in there with him, you find that it's a lot harder than you think. I think that's how it goes with someone like Shelley, and I love his intensity around fight week. I think the father-son combo is a really good one, and I'm here for his suits. I'm always here for his suits.
We're always here for Zach Shelley's suits. He's impeccably dressed at every single event that he does. Now, here we are, Ben Whittaker, Bluski. Johnny, nothing really giving from each there. Ben very much meaning business up there, but giving it some up there on the top table today.
I think he knows it's beyond this level. He's just got to go through the motions, and then going through the motions and get the job done. But it's going to be probably a half a dozen fights down the line where then we can ask really questions. That's where he's going to say, right, I need to get my act in order. At this moment, he can play at this. He can play it, and with a serious head on. I saw when he was sat down, Sugar Hill was over here, they were texting each other, and he was very relaxed, they were having a conversation. He was very matter-of-fact about it. Love it for the man. I think this young man is a star in the making.
And so early on in his career, quite often there would be sort of question marks, wouldn't there, over it? Being that confident, sometimes even verging on a little bit cocky, a little bit arrogant, but he is backing it up in the ring. So far, so good for him.
He's a showman.
Yeah.
He's a showman. That's
he's the whole package, isn't
he? And he understands. He's like more like being loved or loathed, but this is part of his package. This is what he wants people to do. He wants to get your attention, so you hate him, so you love him, so you're talking about him. And still, he was up there. No matter what, he stole the headline. He was the one that shone. He could have actually sat on the top table with Savannah and Cruise-Dezurn, because I think he captures that kind of attention. But he doesn't deserve it yet. He's not got his strap yet as a pro.
Natasha Jonas and Kandi Wyatt, they're just faced off. Very respectful between the two. Didn't really expect anything but that, really. But a real opportunity for Tasha to become a two-weight world champion on Saturday night.
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, a fighter like Kandi Wyatt, she will bring it, and she'll fight hard all the way through. But just from what I was looking at there, I don't really feel like she has come here expecting to win. I think she's come here hoping to win, come here thinking, I'll put the shift in that I normally put in, and hopefully that'll be enough. These are kind of fractional differences sometimes, but you need to come thinking 100% that you are going to win. And I don't get that vibe from her.
Do you get that vibe, Andy, saying that Kandi, he doesn't get the vibe that she's coming to win? She might, but she's not coming to win. Did you get that vibe up there?
I actually think she's come to make the numbers up. I saw in the public workout, and I thought, is that what you've got to get in there with Natasha? Natasha, it's a done deal. She just has to go through the motions. There was nothing I saw about her that made me think, oh, this is going to be a tough one. Now, unless she was playing possum and just just like dumbing it down a little bit. There was nothing about her that I saw a threat to what we've seen so far when Natasha's won and lost that I think threatens her.
I think with Natasha, like they said up there, the last 18 months has really been a dream, really, for Tasha, isn't it? She's achieved so many firsts. She's been a trailblazer for the sport. How much would it be the cherry on top to become a two-weight world champion on Saturday?
Yeah, it'd be massive. I was saying to Andy on the stream yesterday, and you were there as well in Cardiff, August 2018, when Vivian Obernauf chinned her, basically, and she was 34-35, and we just thought maybe that's it, because it can be. Fighters find it hard to get past a defeat like that often, and I wondered whether she'd be able to come back.
She's one of those that keeps producing the goods, doesn't she, time and time again, and getting better.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we wondered whether she'd get over the line as a world champion. Very nearly against Terry Harper, really good performance against Katie Taylor. We were thinking that maybe it's not really going to happen. And then she jumped up in weight and won 3 world titles in a row. And now looking to become two-weight. It's all, so many things are about perseverance. You just got to keep believing in it when nobody else does. It's a cliche, but it's cliches are cliches for a reason. And she did that, and Joe always believed in her too. And Mila was there with her yesterday at the workout. Boxer put up a nice thing earlier. It was Bring Your Daughter to Work Day yesterday.
I saw Mila standing at the side of the ring yesterday, and she had the boxing gloves on, and you kind of think that baton might be passed on, Johnny.
Without a doubt, I actually think when her daughter was here, she was to bring your daughter to a workout. That shows how confident you actually are. She wants to know her workplace. There's no nerves there at all. And she was actually being a mum and being a fighter at the same time.
But that
was nice.
But that's normal for Tasha, because I think she might have already said, but we've had conversations when Mila comes to the gym, school holidays, half term, Easter. She's there. She's very, very much part of Tasha's journey.
Which showed us so much more to what we see with Natasha. I remember when I'd fight, I didn't want anybody. I didn't want my friends and family there. My mates would be there, but I kept away from them. I was with my coach. But she juggled. It was just nice to see. I thought, you know what, you've great balance, and it shows a great sense of character in Natasha.
Do you think Tasha will be looking to make a statement on Saturday? Do you think she'll be seeing that as that kind of opportunity?
Yeah, I think yes, because you always want to do that on that kind of stage. But I think she'll know that she's probably booking in for a long job. I think she probably always does that. She's very experienced. But Wyatt is tough. Like, she really is. She took some stick off McCaskill, and in the end the ref stopped it because he essentially just couldn't really watch it anymore. She didn't really react to anything that she was hit with. She never looked hurt, but she was just getting hit too much. So it's the kind of night where just keep her turning, keep her moving, and if it happens, it happens. But
no room for complacency. I mean, Joe's made that very clear as well, that she could be a really tough task for Natasha on Saturday.
Yeah, it could be, but she's been there before against Eve-Marie Decaire. That was at Super Welter, another Canadian fighter, big, strong, durable opponent, a bit like Wyatt. And in the second half of the fight, it got hard and she had to really, really dig in. So she knows she can do it, but she also knows that if you can, you want to avoid it. So I think that'll stand her in really good stead. Just use your skills, get the win, move on.
Good advice there. Right, that's the Undercard press conference done. We're on to our main event. Savannah Marshall, Franchón Crews-Dezurn. Very much looking forward to this. When we had the press conference a few months ago, there was a little bit of back and forth between the two. What are you expecting today, Johnny, up there?
Crews-Dezurn walked in and she owned the place. Everything about her, it was stardust.
The outfit, the glasses, the whole persona.
So she understands she is her business. Savannah came in, she tried to slide in, tried to just get in there and get the job done and get out. I've finally seen Peter turn up, so it's the first time I've seen him all week. I think Savannah is more concerned about what happens in the ring than all this. Whereas Cruise-Dezurn wants us to remember her, wants to stand out. And she's done the job because that's the one you're talking about. In the gloves off, she started singing. And she's not scared of actually selling herself, wanting people to know, look, I can fight. There's a lot more to me. I'm very interested to see how this is played out because Cruise-Dezurn, she's lost some weight now, she's trimmed down. She looks not as imposing compared to Savannah as she did at the presser. So let's just see how this pans out.
What do you think, Andy? Do you think it will be respectful, or do you think we'll see a little bit of needle?
Oh, I think Cruise-Dezurn will 100% try and get into Savannah's head and do it in the way that she's done it so far, by basically just questioning her minerals. As she said earlier in the week that she doesn't think that Savannah wants to do this anymore. I always think that's quite a cute way to go about things. You know, your motivation isn't there. You don't, you know, you're not made for this. All that kind of stuff. That's
really poking the bear when you say something like that, isn't it? That's kind of going, okay.
Yeah, so that's the road she likes to go down. I don't think it will really have much effect, to be honest, but I think I do expect to see her try.
In terms of in the ring, Johnny, though, game plan for Savannah, what do you think it will be on Saturday night?
Use a smart box. She reminds me of a female version of Carlos Monzon, a good attacking, punishing fighter if you don't do your job right. She doesn't want to get dragged into a tear-up because Cruise-Dezurn is rough. She's rugged. She wants you to get into a tear-up. Savannah needs to hold her head. You use her height, use her reach. The weight now will suit her down to the ground. Keep it long and box to the game plan. That will beat her. She has better technical boxing ability to beat Cruise-Dezurn. If she gets into a fight, then she's giving somebody a better chance than what they should have.
You know her very well indeed, Savannah. Do you think she will be feeling the pressure this time around, going into this off the back of the loss to Clarissa Shield, because she'll know that she cannot afford back-to-back defeats?
I believe that she, after fighting Clarissa, she believes that she belongs at this level. She believes that she went in there with the best fight in the world and lost. Not got beat, lost. She lost because she didn't box to the best of her ability. But even though she understood the best fight in the world, you know, and she could have done better, I think it's actually, believe it or not, it's built her confidence up to say, I belong here. And for her to put herself under that pressure to say, I belong here, there's no plan B. So as far as she's concerned, she's going to win this title and probably even say to Clarissa, if we fight again, you step up. Let's do it my way.
What do you think? Do you think there'll be any demons hanging over for Savannah from a loss to Clarissa Shields?
Well, we'll find out in the early stages. Personally, I don't really think so. I think she's experienced enough now not to let that matter, and she'll know that a
lot of eyeballs though on her, though. A lot of eyeballs, a lot of pressure on her.
There is, but she has to respond. Back-to-back defeats, and there'll always be somewhere for her to go because she's a big name in boxing in the UK. But if she can't get this done, then it's a major blow. You know, at this level, everything is on the line every time you go out there, and that's definitely true for her here. It's interestingly, there's kind of a little bit of a standoff going on here at the minute. I saw Franchón Crews poke her head around the curtain, saw that I think Savannah Marshall hadn't taken her seat yet and that her belts weren't up, and so she's kind of just retreated again. So I think
originally we were waiting for Franchón and now we're waiting for Savannah, so I think they're kind of doing a bit of chicken and egg between the two. No one wants to come out first, do they? They're like, I'm going to make you wait, aren't they? Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see. But where do you think Franchón will see Savannah's weaknesses?
I think she does see it as being as simple as, I want this more than you, I'm mentally tougher than you, I'm going to put it
Heart and desire then.
Yeah, and take it to a place that you don't want to go. We both know you don't want to go there. I'm looking at you and you know that I'm speaking the truth. That's what she's gone for all the way through. And she's good at it. You know, she's kind of convincing. I went in to watch them film The Gloves Are Off, so you see the kind of outtakes and how they are with each other beforehand and afterwards, and that's what she went for all the way through. That kind of we both know the truth here. We both know, and you know that what I'm saying is right, and I know you know. That's what she goes for.
Okay, right. Let's see what happens. We are very much excited to see this. Let's hand you over to Big Mo for the introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the press conference stage here at New Century, and welcome back to our viewers joining us on Sky Sports. Less than 1 year ago, Boxer and Sky put together the biggest night in the history of women's boxing. More than 2 million people here in the United Kingdom watched that show, and millions more around the world. And they've decided to bring undisputed championship boxing here to the United Kingdom again for another great night of women's boxing. And now it is time to bring up the main eventers for this Saturday's show, live from the AO Arena in Manchester, live on Sky Sports and ESPN Plus and dozens of more networks around the world. I would like to welcome back the promoter of this event, the head of Boxer, Mr. Ben Shalom, and joining Ben Shalom on stage and directing this press conference from Sky Sports, Mr. Andy Scott. And now to introduce the two women at the top of the bill, live from Manchester this Saturday, looking to deliver a historic night of boxing as the world watches. 10 rounds for the undisputed super middleweight championship of the world. First, the challenger, joined by her coach, Peter Fury. She hails from Hartlepool, England. She is a two-time Olympian with 12 wins, 10 of which coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, the former WBO middleweight champion of the world and the former undisputed championship contender, please welcome the silent assassin, Savannah Marshall. And now the champion, the undisputed champion, joined by her manager on stage, Peter Kahn. Please welcome the athlete, promoter, fashion designer, and singer from Baltimore, Maryland, USA. She is the undisputed super middleweight champion of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, the heavy-hitting diva, Franchón Crews-Dezurn.
Well, a very warm welcome to New Century Manchester, a venue steeped in history. Jimi Hendrix, the Jackson 5, Pink and The Who have all performed here. And on this stage, we have a couple of performing artists at the very top of their trade. This could well be a heavy metal contest. On one side, the challenger, back at a new weight, back to prove a point, no doubt, and back to become a champion once again. The silent assassin, Savannah Marshall, flanked by her esteemed trainer, Peter Fury. On the other, the champion, our visitor from the United States of America. As Big Mo said, she's multi-talented, her own promoter, a fashion designer, and a singer. But today, she sits here with all the belts as the undisputed super middleweight champion of the world. It's the heavy-hitting diva, Franchón Crews-Dezurn, flanked by her manager, the Boxing Writers Association of America Manager of the Year, it's Peter Kahn as well. But straight to our own rock star, Ben Shalom. I mean, you must be delighted to put on a top of the bill like this. Another undisputed clash. It's back-to-back in terms of Boxer and Savannah Marshall. And yes, the original top of the bill fell away, but you were confident that you wanted to proceed with this for all the right reasons.
Yeah, as I say, there's not many fighters you can do that with, but Savannah Marshall is certainly one. Here we are again, another undisputed. Have to thank Sky, have to thank ESPN for the support of women's boxing. It's truly incredible. Undisputed fights don't come around very often. We have another one. It's in Manchester. Thank you to Mick Hennessy for his constant support, and thank you to Peter Kahn, who has made this fight one of the easiest undisputed fights I think that's ever been made. Franchón Crews has been a pleasure as well, and we promote this fight with HHD Promotions. It's going to be a spectacle on Saturday night. This really feels like the heavyweight division of women's boxing. Franchón has been a champion for a long time now. This will be her toughest test, and Savannah's here to prove a point. After an absolutely unbelievable night at the O2, she felt she went away. There were certain things that she didn't quite get right on the night, and when the rematch wasn't going to happen, this was the fight that had to happen for Savannah Marshall. And here we are days away, and it really is all or nothing on Saturday night.
Yeah, and that's why you've built it as such. Just stepping back from all of that, both teams are going to presumably do a lot of talking now and talk it up, but from a fight point of view, when the first bell rings, I think that Boxers' side of things are pretty confident this, star-wise, has got all the makings of a very, very watchable fight.
I think so. Franchón is going to, in my opinion, she's going to stick it on Savannah. She thinks she's going to use her advantage, her size advantage, her experience at the weight. But Savannah Marshall's here to prove why we believe she's the heavy-hitting most heavy-hitting female in the sport, and she's here to put on a statement. It really is a 50-50 fight. I think it's going to be absolutely everything that we expect, and as I say, this is the heavyweight division of the women's sport, and it's the two best, and it's the elite, and it's undisputed for the Ring Magazine belt as well. It doesn't get any bigger. There isn't any more you could put on the line on Saturday night, and it's going to be in front of 8,000 fans at the Manchester Arena.
Yeah, I mean, you set it up perfectly there. It's only fair to go straight to the champion. Franchón, great to see you again. What are the emotions now you've landed and you're on the ground and you're in Manchester? You did some great build-up alongside Savannah, and we've been entertained so far. Last little bit of talking still to come, but what are your emotions now, fight weeks upon us?
Oh, I'm happy. I am present. I am living everything I envisioned. And at the end of July 1st, Saturday night, it's just going to be another icing on another cake. When I win against Savannah Marshall, thank you to Manchester. You guys have been very hospitable. Thank you to Sky, to Boxer for partnering with the Heavy Hitting Diva Promotions, and shout out to ESPN for getting us shown in the United States, around the world. I mean, I've been looking at the promotion, and you know, that energy is very different. When I'm in Savannah's presence, she has nothing to say, but when she's doing interviews, she has so much to say. And I just ask that she keeps that same energy. Keep that same energy.
Are you as confident now camp is over? You were confident before, but now you've done the 10 or 12 weeks it's been, and you've worked on a game plan alongside headbangers and your trainer. Are you more confident, as confident? What would you say?
I mean, I love the reference that Ben gave that this would be a heavy metal, because, I mean, my gym is called Headbangers, because that's what we do. I want to shout out my family in Florida and my husband, Glenn. We've been putting a lot of work in, and as you can see from this picture to what you see right now, I definitely came to work. I didn't come to play. I didn't come to be friends. I came to kick her ass, straight like that.
You referenced that you feel that Savannah is different in interviews to when she's in your presence. Do you crave that verbal battle? Does it matter to you if you don't get it today?
No, the contract is signed, and we're going to fight on Saturday night. Trust me, I'm not like her. Unfortunately, she got a defeat because she underestimated. That's what happens when you get content. That's what happens when you think everything is going to be given to you. You let somebody come in your hometown and beat you, dog walk you, and that is not Alicia Baumgartner's word, but you let somebody come and take something that you thought was yours because you got complacent. That's you. That's not me. I don't have to deal with that. You don't have to say anything. You feel my energy. Go ahead.
I didn't get complacent at all.
Yes, you did. And you blame your trainer. And you blame your trainer.
I didn't blame Peter at all.
Yes, you did.
No, I never. That's what went wrong, and I said, ask Peter.
So
that's not me blaming him.
So how are you going to make it right on a whole different fighter?
You're nothing like Clarissa.
So how are you going to make it right on
You're
me?
nothing like Clarissa Franchón.
Yeah, I know.
You're nothing like Clarissa, and you're not going to dog walk me at all.
Ooh, you got some
you
confidence
like that one?
now.
You like that one?
Yeah, I need that.
I brought it. It's got
I
spicy.
need that.
We're here.
Because you know
We're here
what?
now. We've got
I
2
understand.
days.
I know it's very difficult when you're in front of your friends. I know the same thing. You're not going to beat me up or verbally assault me in front of my friends. So do what you have to do to feel good. Do what you have to do to feel like something, because I don't want
the reality of it is, Franchón, I don't have to say anything. I'm a better fighter than you.
Oh.
I'm a better
Check the
fighter than
resume.
you.
Where you at? You started at super middleweight. We started pro at the same time. Why
we did.
Why did you try to skip around and get the easy way?
The difference between me and you is, this is the difference between me and you,
please
right?
Tell me.
You sit about on your lazy ass waiting for opportunities. This is why you've boxed twice in 2 years. The difference was me. I was at super middle. You didn't entertain me. You didn't give me a shot. You didn't want to know. So I moved up.
So you think
I moved up to light heavy where there was a title shot for me. Fell through. Again, no title shot for me to middle. So I moved down to middle to box Hannah Rankin. Same with Shadisa Green. She sat as your mandatory for over a year, and you don't want to know. So what? Who's the mugger, yeah?
But listen.
Who's the mug?
I'm
Do you want
trying
me
to
to sit
figure
about,
out.
get myself in a position where I'm a mandatory and wait about for you to give me a
out
title
how,
shot?
I'm trying to figure out how I'm not creating my own opportunities when I'm in your
on your soul
hometown,
machine.
headlining
Go out
in your
and find
country.
opportunities. You
I'm
see, I
America.
have things given to me on a silver platter, like what? You've given me involuntary defence.
You finished?
Wow.
You finished?
You're the good
so I can
Samaritan.
read you for
That's
filth?
the only
Are
thing
you
you've
finished?
given to me. A voluntary defence. Well, because you didn't want to entertain your mandatory, and
How
that's
you-
what it
how-
boils down to.
how are you going to say, first, I'm going to just rip you apart from your first line. How are you going to say I sit on my lazy ass when it took him 5 minutes to introduce me because I do so many things? Hold up, I gave you time.
Right,
Let's be respectful. How can you say that I sat on my lazy ass and didn't create an opportunity when you fight on the card that I'm co-promoting? My name is the Heavy Hitting Diva
Co-promoting because no one else wants to promote you.
Hey, baby, but listen, how am I sitting on my lazy ass not creating opportunities when you got hustle personified right here? Don't ever play with me or play with my name.
There's no one else in the division.
Because you know
there's
why?
No one else.
Let me tell you something. I self-manage myself.
Because no one
for
else
90% of my career. Yeah. I made deals with Golden Boy. I made deals with all these other promoters.
Good on you.
When you had things handed to you, why did you leave America? Why did you leave?
Because the opportunity wasn't there.
Baby, I've been there.
I was there.
I've been there.
I'm
still here.
I haven't got time.
But your opportunity is here now. I haven't got time. And all you do is talk about Clarissa because
people
you're so butthurt because you lost. Let me tell you the difference. Let me tell you the difference.
No one knew who you were till you called me out on that show.
Let me tell you.
All of a sudden you're trying to sell singles.
The difference is,
the reason why you're not on top of the pops.
The difference is, and I hope Clarissa's watching. The difference is, I took a fight with that woman, a two-time Olympic gold medalist,
about 10 years ago,
on a 2.5 week notice. I lost, and I'm right here, undisputed. History. I did that. Let me tell you something. You had 10 years, 10 rounds, 10 months to prepare. You couldn't even do it. So don't you ever disrespect me like that.
Listen,
you trying to right your wrongs, and you got promoters like Ben. You got promoters like Ben. Shout out to Ben, who still give you opportunity that you don't deserve. So you better kiss my feet and be happy I came to the ring to give you opportunity. You should be happy.
You called me out.
Happy.
That's the difference here. She called me out.
Let's talk.
She's making out like I begged her for this fight.
Listen.
She called me out.
Listen.
That's the difference.
But listen.
So all this crap I've had stuff given to me on silver platters.
But when those ringside rankings come out, when those ringside ranking comes out,
this platform,
Ring Magazine rankings, pound for pound list, pound for pound
list, a little pop-up shop in the AO Arena selling garments, probably promoted by Heavy Hitting Promotions.
Let me just interject for a second.
Speak facts, Savannah. Speak facts. That's all I ask.
I've got one more question for you, Franchón. What sort of a fight are you expecting for Savannah? This is all great. Everyone's enjoying the trash talk, but the business end of it, when the lights come down, it's just you, her, and the referee. What sort of fight are you actually expecting?
You know what? I want y'all to close your eyes and envision that. I'm going to tell you the difference. Because if you took all these cameras, all these people, take all the crowd, and just put me and her in the gym with ourselves, I'll show you what kind of fight. You know what kind of fight it is. But to you, you think I'm going to be so stupid. And for you to insult me like I ain't been kicking ass in the amateurs right alongside you. I ain't been kicking ass in the pros right alongside you. To insult me and say, the only hope I have to win is coming in reckless and stupid. No, don't project on me. That's what you hope I do, because that's the only way you think you can beat me. I'm better than you. I'm more diverse than you. I done went through plenty of systems. You done got these opportunities. How you a two-time Olympic gold medalist? Girl, please. You never had competition over here in the UK. Since we gonna always bring up Clarissa, because that's your secret place in your mind that you go to feel like something, because she took your soul. I'm here to close the casket. I'm here to close the casket.
I get asked about her. I get asked about her. Even this build-up. No one's asking about Franchón Crews.
It don't matter.
About the rematch with Clarissa.
Check them history books. Check them history books. I even got your sidekick, April Hunt, and her sister shook. See, this is what you had to do with Clarissa. This is the difference. When Clarissa came, we got to jump her. We got to be disrespectful to an undisputed champion, a two-time Olympic gold medalist, to a fucking... No, because y'all disrespected greatness. Y'all disrespected greatness for no reason, and it shouldn't have happened. And you're not going to play with me. So you can insult, you and Peter think you're going to come in crazy.
No, what it is because I've actually spoke up. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm sick of this dog walking crap. What are you going on about? Silver platters.
Let me come to you now, Savannah. I had written down that maybe your quietness was mistaken for a lack of confidence, but I'm going to scrub that from the record today. It's a new weight, but the goal remains the same for you?
100%, yeah. New weight, a lot more natural for me. I'm feeling a lot stronger, and this is it. 2 days away.
I'll ask the same question. What sort of fight are you expecting? I wrote down, Franchón said there that she feels that she's more diverse than you, that more adaptive. She can change her game plan on the fly. Do you think that she has been pigeonholed a little bit into this pressure fighter, aggressive fighter, that maybe her technical boxing skills are being overlooked? What have you and Peter Fury, without saying too much, what have you identified?
Look, she's undisputed champion for a reason. She's strong, she's tough. She uses her strength, she uses her weight. She's very unorthodox, and she's a strong pressure fighter.
Do you think, this is a strange question as well, but we might as well go there. Do you think that actually there is some respect between the two of you, despite the last sort of 15 minutes?
Of course. Like, this is why people draw to me, because I am real. I'm a student of this game, and I've been in this game for a long time, just like she's been a long time. If I was to sit here and take away what she has, you can't take history book away. She is a 2-time Olympic participant. She is a former world champion. That's why I want to fight you. Yes, you have a country behind you, but that's why I want to fight you, because at the end of the day, it's bigger than me. When I hang up the gloves, they're going to see that 2 women can headline a card and put on a great night of fighting. I'm coming to fight, but it's bigger than me. It's bigger than me. You could throw sticks, you could talk all you want. I can't fight, I'm this, that, and the third. I'm a goon. I am a goon. I am hustle personified, and I'm here because I work my ass off to be here. And if anybody think they're going to take anything from me, that's Boxer, that's Savannah, that's Peter, that's the whole crew, they got another thing coming, because I'm willing to die. And you laugh now, you're going to cry later, April. Make sure you're good for your fight. Where's she at? Where's she at? You just got verbally assaulted. Calm down.
Is there something there that you both agree on, that actually October, the big question after that was, where does the sport go next? How can we capitalise on that? And do you think actually that those seeds that were planted on that night are already starting to grow now? The fact that we're back here, we're headlining, yes, albeit in different circumstances, but we're headlining again with an undisputed fight, shows that you've succeeded in that respect.
Yeah, 100%. The reception I got in the O2 was absolutely massive. The whole country's just got behind female sport, and I feel like me and all the other females boxers are just riding this massive wave. The fact that, you know, the main event fell through and Boxer and Sky still went ahead with the shows, me and Franchón headlining, is just amazing.
Yes, it is. I agree.
And, you know, without sort of kicking a hornet's nest that doesn't really need any more kicking, but, you know, why not? You were heavy-handed at the weight below. Everybody knew that. The record said as much. Do you believe that you're bringing that power up? And it's worth asking the question, do you believe you hit hard enough to win this fight by knockout?
Yeah, 100%. Like I said, I'm not having to struggle to make the weight. I always made middleweight. I always made it properly, but it was a bit of a struggle. This time it's been a lot more easier. The camp's been a lot more enjoyable. I'm not having to bring my weight down a lot earlier. So yeah, I don't see why not.
Okay, let's all take a breath and shift down a gear. I'm going to bring in Peter Kahn.
I'm good.
Okay, let's bring in Peter Kahn. Peter, a nice line that you gave me beforehand. Actually, you know Peter Fury pretty well, because we all learnt a little bit about each other in those bios you call bubbles. You and Peter Fury shared a bubble, so I think there's respect there between the two teams. You were ringside at Madison Square Garden. There's 2 real flagship events in female boxing recently, with Katie Taylor against Amanda Serrano at MSG. Franchón was on that card, you were part of it, and obviously the October night that I've already referenced. Does it say a little bit that Franchón was ringside, and you know, we brought the undisputed title back to the UK, and that's no disrespect at all to the sport in America, but it seems here we are riding the crest of a wave a little bit. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. And, you know, first and foremost, I want to thank Ben Shalom and Boxer, Sky, ESPN for picking this up, ESPN Plus United States. You know, I hear the reference all the time, women's boxing, women's boxing. This is just a great fight in boxing in general. And going back to that evening at Madison Square Garden, that was electric. That was when Franchón beat Elin Cederroos. The Katie Taylor-Amanda Serrano fight, the place was packed. I could still see it right now, and what a great fight Forget about male, female. It was just a great fight. And I've been doing this a long time. It's 30 years. For this sport to keep continuing to be relevant, they have to make great fights. Doesn't matter wins or losses. The best fighters have to fight each other. And when Franchón said to me, okay, you know, what are we going to do next? Who's next? I said, who do you want to fight? And she came over here in October, and it wasn't so much about calling Savannah out. It was about saying, this is going to be a great fight. And like Ben said, this fight took 5 minutes. Credit to Savannah and her team. Sure. Credit to us. This took 5 minutes to make. And we started this around Thanksgiving. I was on a Zoom outside my backyard getting this deal done. So, you know, this is what boxing needs. The best fighting the best. And I really believe, and if anyone disagrees, let me know, but this is the best fighting the best. And the UK fans and the UK boxing scene is great. Of course, we have no problem coming here.
And I'm not doing your job down at all, but sometimes you have a difficult job with fighters, getting them to engage and do the promotion, and then you have people like Franchón Crews. You've had to sit there, and you probably actually didn't have to say anything today. But
let me say this. Franchón and I have been working together now, 3 years? Yeah. And she's right. 90% of her career, she self-managed herself. And it's pretty remarkable what she's been able to accomplish. And as I say to her, using an American football reference, I came in at the 1 yard line, just to kind of like push it over a little bit, right? And that was when she became undisputed, the first female at 168 pounds at super middleweight to be undisputed, the only female to have the Ring Magazine belt at super middleweight, and the longest reigning female super middleweight champion. She could have taken a victory lap, gone for a softer touch, but no. This is the fight that she wanted. It's great for her history, her legacy. She's had the belts. She's had the belts. It's about legacy. And the only way that you cement your legacy and you become that Hall of Fame fighter is by taking on bigger challenges. And that's what Savannah Marshall is.
Well, thank you very much for coming over and being part of it. Peter, you know, you're long in the tooth now. You're not going to say anything that's obviously going to give too much away. But what differences have you noticed behind closed doors, Savannah Marshall now up at super middleweight, that you can sort of tell us without giving anything away?
I think, look, we're always working on improvements. It's working.
Can everybody hear Peter? No.
Let's do Peter's up here.
So what happens when you're second class, you see? Yeah, so basically, we're always working on improvements and stuff, and yeah, we've been in the gym, and we have made some significant improvements. So I'm very happy where we are, and but I want to second what Peter said as well. This is about legacies. It's about fighters fighting the best, and they should pit against the best. There's too much protection of fighters, too much business involved. Everybody wants this, everybody wants that. But at the end of the day, it comes down to the best fighting the best. And when he said this fight took 5 minutes to make, because I think we all know me and the small team around me will step up to the plate. And this is what it's about. There's no guarantees who's going to win this fight. They're both good fighters. And I'm excited to see this fight as well, because I want to see a good fight. I want to see proper fights, not picked fights.
Every time I'm in a ring, it's a big fight. It's going to be proper. It's going to be entertaining. Trust me.
Well, it will be. And at the end of the day, you know, I'm best of luck to both of them. And the thing is as well, we appreciate you coming over here, bringing the belts, putting it on the line. So, listen, there's no badness from me. There's no animosity from me. I respect all good fighters. And I want to see a good fight, and we're going to get it. And listen, whatever happens, happens. But look...
I'm a win, though, Peter.
No, but listen. Hey, there's no guarantees in this life. I want to win the lottery, but I haven't won yet. But the thing is, it's like anything else. We'll train hard. She's trained very hard. She's ticked all the boxes. There's no excuses. And the thing is, what it comes down to, you can have the best trainers, you can have everything, you can have Einstein in the corner. But when it comes down to it, and you're in these 50-50 fights, you've got to have something inside you which is a little bit special. And you've got to dig to places that you don't want to be. And you've got to adjust on your feet and think for yourself in there. You know, no trainer's got a key in a world-class fighter's back and keeps turning it. We're here to advise, point out things, but ultimately it comes down, when you're in 50-50 fights,
You preaching to the choir. 'cause
who
it's
is
the same
who
thing
is
I
the best
said when
fighter?
I came here.
So at the
and
end
I'm
of the
glad
day,
that you
that's
learned
where
that.
we are.
It's
So
some things you
let's
can't
see.
teach, and
Let's
you're gonna
see,
see.
and I want to see.
Welcome to my world, Savannah.
Let's see.
I'm gonna take you into the darkness. I'm gonna take you into the deep waters. I'm gonna show you what it means to be a winner. I'm gonna show you what it means to be a winner. I'll give it to you. If you beat me, all hats to you. I'm happy because you know what? I touched the soul and made them better. But it's not gonna happen.
I was going to give you the opportunity to give a final message. Do you want to say anything else, or was that it?
Well,
You
yeah,
kind of went there.
I want to say I wanted to show love to the UK. As you can see, I'm rocking the green, and hopefully I don't offend because I don't know thoroughly the culture. But Princess Diana was one of my favorite fashionistas and just personalities. So I just thank you guys for having me here. I hope to come back and visit, and be prepared for a great night, July 1st.
And Savannah, do you have a final message? I think Peter stole your microphone.
Just thank you to all the fans, everyone who's bought tickets. If it wasn't for you, female boxing wouldn't be in this position.
Yep.
Thank you to everyone who's going to tune in on Saturday, and trust me, it'll be a great fight.
Yep.
And to you, Ben Shalom.
Look, I think it's great for Franchón to get the platform that her personality and her talent deserves, but equally, Savannah Marshall has worked for everything she's got. Everything she's got. I remember meeting her, and she has taken the women's sport to another level. No other female fighter sells the tickets in the way she does, has the support that she does, and what she achieved throughout the past 18 months has been nothing short of incredible. And if it wasn't for her, Lauren Price, Caroline Dubois, Caris Artingstall that we have coming through wouldn't have the dream of headlining these arenas. So, yeah, I just wanted to say Savannah has worked for everything she has.
Brilliant. Well said, everybody. So let me just remind you, 7 o'clock, Sky Sports action and showcase. Main event from about 9:30, and we're expecting the first bell just because the way the undercard's looking at a really reasonable time of around 10 o'clock, if not a little bit before. So it gives you the opportunity for everybody to tune in. We're going to finish this now. We're going to pause for head-to-heads, and then I think you two are going to have a few questions from the media that are here waiting. But thank you, everybody, and let's get these head-to-heads done.
I think, Andy, that was as we expected, but with a little bit more spice, perhaps.
Yeah, I think so. I think if you're Savannah Marshall, she's quite kind of patiently in the build-up, really listened to what Franchón Crews has had to say and not said too much back. And I think today she felt like almost she couldn't be bothered just to sit there and listen to it again. And she felt like she needed to say more in return. I don't think it's because it's really got under her skin, but she wanted to just say a few things herself. And I did find it interesting that Crews does react, or she did react up there when her narrative was questioned. When her narrative of "I've done this the harder way than you" was questioned. She didn't like.
I think that there's a lot of pride there, isn't there? A lot of pride. She's very proud what she's come from, what she's achieved so far, and that does seem to be the button. If you push that button, then you will get a reaction from her.
Yeah, and I found that kind of interesting. She never lost her composure or anything like that, but her smile was never far away. But you can tell that really means something to her. She holds that tight. She holds it close, and she absolutely believes in it. So whenever anybody raises any question marks about its validity or anything like that, its authenticity, then she doesn't like it.
What can we read into here? Savannah, bit of a smile from her, but in terms of Franchón, really not giving anything away. Very much it's business. Real intent there.
Yeah, there is. I mean, she obviously very much rates her own mental strength. I mean, what you could say is that she might find herself in a position on Saturday night that she's not really been in before. She had the debut against Shields, but that was only 4 rounds. She had a fight against Alejandra Jimenez, which originally she lost by split decision, I think, but then it was overturned because Jimenez failed the drug test. So
this is a lengthy face-off up there.
Oh, it is. This is all business. But Marshall has done that to Claressa Shields, and that in women's pro boxing, that is as tough as it gets. It really is. So, you know, Franchón Crews-Dezurn is absolutely convinced that she knows what she's got when it gets really, really tough in there, but we don't maybe know whether that's absolutely the case. So I just find this very, very intriguing. I really do, because Marshall is...
It felt like she was wanting to sort of be one step ahead up there today, Savannah Marshall. Like that was like almost like she'd come with a game plan today, wanted to speak out, wanted to say her piece. You know what I mean? Do you get that vibe?
No, I do. Yeah, I do absolutely, because I think Franchón Crews-Dezurn had it kind of her own way in the build up until this point. Savannah was happy just to kind of sit back and say, well, you can say whatever you want to say, whatever makes you happy. You know, you just fire off and talk about all this stuff, and you know, we'll see on the night. But she brought a different energy to it today, Savannah. You know, she didn't just want to, you know, sit there and be passive and listen to it. And I think Franchón Crews-Dezurn maybe wasn't really expecting it particularly, but it made for interesting stuff. It really did. You know, and this is going to be a good fight to watch, because the way she does it, Crews-Dezurn, she will look to bring the heat early. She likes to try and get on top of you and get you where she wants you, put you in your place. And if you start quick and get down advantage over the first 3 or 4 rounds with 2-minute rounds, that is a difficult thing to get back. So I expect this to be pretty explosive from the beginning. You know, I'm really, really looking forward to it.
We're just going to stand on the stage because you want a hand there, Franchón. Don't want you slipping up. There we go.
You look so cute. I love your outfit.
Well, can I say that first? You look absolutely stunning.
Yes, I'm wearing a Magda Khan, House of Fashion.
So is this one of yours? Yeah.
No, this is actually Magda Khan. She was 15-year executive at Perry Ellis. We collaborated. She designed this beautiful garment for me, and I'll have some more looks for the rest of the week.
Very much looking forward to seeing them as well. How did it feel up there to you? Was that what you were hoping? Was that what you were expecting to happen in the press conference? Back and forth, Savannah very much trying to poke the bear a bit.
I mean, listen, that's what I do. I make people around me great. They don't have to be my friends. They can be my enemies. I'm inspirational, and I'm happy she, you know, I want that, because when I beat her on Saturday night, I want people to know I fought a live dog.
What are you expecting on Saturday night? It's going to be quite the atmosphere in there. Manchester Arena, it's a booming place at the best of times, and you're very much walking into the Lion's Den on Saturday.
Hey, I walk into the jungle, and I'll come back with a fur coat, some crocodile shoes. I'm built for it. I am a lion. I'm a lion. I'm a lioness. That's the most vicious one anyway, because they provide, they hunt, and they make it happen. So if this is the Lion's Den, I'll be a lioness.
So is that you saying that you prefer it that way? You quite like that you'll feed off that?
No, I want people to love me and be nice. No, but I'm built for it. I mean, pressure makes diamonds, and I wouldn't be here without that adversity. But I'm looking forward. I've done it before. They might give me a hard time in the beginning, but they're going to love me at the end. Win, lose, or draw.
You're not going to give your game plan away. We understand that, of course. But where are you seeing Savannah's weaknesses? Where do you see the loopholes in her performance?
I mean, I just prepared to be the best me. And I will hope that she prepared to be the best her. Everybody say, oh, you're not in shape. The only way to beat her if she's not in shape, as you can see, I'm in very much shape. I'm here to do whatever. If I got to bang, if I got to box, if we're going to tussle, we're going to do it all. But I'm going to win.
What are you expecting her to do? What do you think she'll come out and do?
Oh, she's just going to try to box me long and hope I come in wild and make it easy for her to hit me, like she said. But even if I do that, if you hit me, I'm going to hit you about 3 or 4 times. So she's just going to try to keep me on the outside and box.
Anything could happen on Saturday, but for Savannah, back-to-back wins, back-to-back losses, rather, it is unthinkable for her. Should you come through it on Saturday night, are you looking beyond this? Have you got your eyes set on anyone else?
No, I've been eating. Hold on, wait. Pause. I've been so locked in on this moment. You saw my energy when I came over here in October. I knew that she wasn't going to get the decision. I was in camp with Claressa. I already saw, unfortunately. But once we got that paperwork signed and the fight was on, that's all I've been focused on. I've been focused on this since 2011. Everything. I want to be the best. I am the best, and I want to continue to get greater.
Andy?
Yeah, did you feel like your technical skills are maybe a bit underrated? Because watching that fight against Cederus, what I found really interesting was that you really brought the heat early to try and make that statement again on top of her. But then in the second half of the fight, and Barry was saying it to you a lot in the corner, you just slowed things down a bit and everything was a little bit smoother. Nice jab, right hand. There's more to you than maybe people think there is.
I mean, if people go back and look at that horrific fight I had against a steroid cheat, when I literally had to fight for my life because somebody did something and tried to take my life, you saw landing 3-punch combinations, slipping, coming back, moving, and this is all why I didn't even have my wits together. So I'm very accurate. If you look at my punch count, I'm very accurate. But at the end of the day, I don't have to prove it. The proof is in the pudding with the 5 belts, my record, my resume for my whole boxing career. It's not pretty, but it gets the job done.
And then one other thing I'm curious about is that you've got a real presence about you. You own the room, whether it's today, whether it's the weigh-in, workouts, all that kind of stuff, People kind of know you're there without even seeing you, and that's a really good thing to have. Have you always had that, or has that kind of grown as you became champ, unified champ, undisputed champ?
No, this has always been me. The belts, the accomplishments were just the decorations. This is just the adornments of the gift that I had inside of me. The difference is I'm not letting people suppress me and project onto me. This is who I'm going to be with or without the belts after I retire. This is Franchón Crews-Dezurn, the heavy-hitting diva.
We're very much looking forward to seeing you on Saturday night. I'm sure we'll speak to you tomorrow at the weigh-in. This is going to rumble on, and we very much are here for it.
Hey, I'm here to entertain you guys. Thanks for having me.
No, best of luck, best of luck. Good to see you, good to see you. She's just got that presence. You just touched on it there, but she really does, doesn't she? And it like you say, when she enters the room, you very much know that she's there.
Yeah, she does, and it is a really valuable thing to have, I think, because I think really kind of either you have that or you don't have it. It's either in your personality or it's not really, and it's not necessarily about just shouting your head off and making loads of noise or gimmicks or all that kind of thing. People, after a while, they see who you are, and authenticity for her obviously is really important. But when you're selling yourself, I think it is too, because bit by bit, if it's not really you, then people get the feeling that it's not really you. Look at some of our bigger characters from back in the day. Ricky Hatton, who had so many great nights at Manchester Arena, he was what he was and people loved it. Nassim, Johnny will tell you, that was him, and that's why people engaged with it, and that's her. That's who she is every day. Savannah Marshall's different, but again, she doesn't pretend to be anybody she's not either, and they touched on it up there about the best fighting the best, and it's so important because...
And I think saying it's just a great fight, full stop, it is very much bang on the money, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's how we should be billing this fight, because it is just a really, really good fight.
Yeah, it is. We all know that boxing's a business, and it can be a very difficult business. But first and foremost, it's a sport. And in sport, we want to know who the best is. And you can only do that if the top people fight each other. And this year, with Davis against Garcia, with Spencer Crawford coming up, with Haney against Lomachenko, Josh Taylor, Teofimo Lopez, these two going at it. The heavyweight men are kind of letting us down a bit, I think, at the minute. Maybe that will get resolved later in the year, but we're having a good year, and this fits right in.
But this is also a prime example, as Ben just said up there, just how easy that fight was to be made, and if only other fights could follow suit, it'd be an absolute game changer in the sport.
Yeah, it would. And,
it's the dream, isn't it? I mean, I'm just...
That's it. Like Andy said, if you're a fight manager, sometimes your money is really hard earned, sometimes it's not. So you take that touch when you can. Ultimately, it just comes down to the fighters. Do they want to fight each other? And if they want it enough and they insist upon it, then it'll happen. And it's great that it's over here. Those two occasions, Madison Square Garden for Taylor Serrano, and then last October over here, they were mega, mega nights. And so one boxed on one boxed on the other, and it's great that two fighters from those two nights are now merging on Saturday.
Absolutely, but both very much want the fight, but that heart, that desire that comes from Franchón Crews-Dezurn, could that really be the difference, do you think, on Saturday? Could it go more?
Yeah, I mean, Savannah's going to come and join us now. You always have to. We're just saying, Savannah, You know, Franchón Crews' kind of narrative throughout has really been that very simply, that she wants it more than you. And we all know that in sport, if a skill differential is going to play any part, then you've got to match the other person for effort. And do you find it slightly insulting, maybe, that she feels that you're not willing to do that?
Yeah, exactly. She doesn't know me. She doesn't know anything about me. So I don't know why she's holding on to that.
You came today, it seems, with some sort of game plan, like you were trying to stir the pot. Did you think it worked a little bit?
I'm not stirring the pot. No, it is. I'm just sick of.
You want to speak your mind and understand?
Yeah, coming out like Americans in particular come over here and just like talking absolute rubbish. No, they don't know me. They don't know what I go through. I've had nothing given to me in my career, so do you know what? I'm going to let her just sit there and talk a load of waffle.
We will obviously talk about this fight, but just talking about what you went through, the loss to Claressa Shields. What happened in that aftermath? What did you do? What went through your mind? Did you just take yourself off for a little bit to kind of process it and deal with it?
Yeah, I had about 4 months off, which is probably the longest I've had off since I was 16. So it was nice just being normal for kind of...
I bet that was weird at the same time, though, as well, having that sort of length of period off.
I was lost, and it got to the point where I'd had enough of raiding the fridge, I'd had enough of takeaways, I'd had enough of late nights and...
Enough of daytime TV, there's only so much you can watch that.
Yeah, there's only much Lorraine Kelly I could stand, so come to the point where I was like, look, I want to be back now.
But do you think that's probably the best thing for you in terms of having that, because it's given you the desire and the motivation to come back as you are now?
Oh, 100%. Look, I was beaten by the better fighter, and that was hard to take. I had an opportunity to become probably the best pound for pound in the world, and I was beaten, and losing's hard. Losing's really hard. I hate losing. So it was a bit of pill to swallow, and also a personality. You know, we didn't really get on. There was the build-up had went on for about 10 years, so it was hard.
Have you had to really part that going into this to focus on this fight, so no demons are hanging over you, no hangover from that last fight going into this?
No, I left that in 2022. That's dead and buried now.
So what are you expecting on Saturday? What do you think Franchón's going to bring?
The only thing she can bring is she can't outbox me long. She's going to have to come and try and sit on my chest, and that's what I want. That's what I've trained for. I've trained for the best Franchón Crews there is.
We're going to have Claressa Shields with us ringside. How do you feel about that? Is that anything in your mind or bothered? I mean, she's also going to be here supporting Franchón. Is that a good thing for you?
She's supporting me. She's here for me. That's why she's here around her. I texted her earlier on and let her know time the presser was kicking off, so she's in the loop.
It doesn't bother you at all that she's going to be there?
Standard. All the build up to this has been Claressa rematch. And look, it's knocked her a bit. It's knocked Franchón because everyone's talking about Claressa, but I can't help it. It's the biggest fight out there.
But with that, like you just said there, a lot of the talk already around this has been the Claressa rematch. Is that noise in your head, or can you just blank that out?
Look, I've had it all my career. It's been. She went on to accomplish everything, hasn't she? And I didn't accomplish what she did as an amateur. Then she's won multiple titles as a pro, so my name's always been tied with hers and vice versa, and then she beat me, so it's the only fight out there at these higher weights.
You're looking really well. Are you finding the higher weight is suiting you? Are you more comfortable now you're there?
Yeah, I always made middle, but it was hard. It was hard. And this had a lot more carbs, which is always nice.
You now look back and think, how did I manage it?
I'm looking in the mirror, thinking, how on earth did I ever make middle?
But you did. And also your camp was up here in Manchester, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So is that good for you that this week, I guess, you're at home, are you? Are you managing to go home? You don't have to stay in a hotel. Is that better for you?
I'm taking advantage. This is the first time ever I've been able to sleep in my own bed fight week, eat my own food, rather than... Normally you're sat in a hotel, you're having to nip out for food, and you're just lounging about on your bed watching telly. So at least I'm at home, I've got my own comforts, I'm just doing what I would normally do.
Ben Shalom's lurking in the background. Ben, come and join us. Just put into context what a great fight this is on Saturday. It is just a really, really solid, good fight.
Yeah, forget about the words that were up there. She came for you then. I was surprised at her energy today, but what a fight we have. And we knew when we made this fight it was going to be a fight that, as fans, we wanted to see. It was easy to make, but another undisputed fight for Savannah. Not only is it a great fight, but there's a lot on the line on Saturday night, possibly more than October.
And 8,000 fans in that Manchester arena. It is a special venue anyway, at the best of times. How much are you looking forward to getting out there, and what are you looking forward to?
Can't wait. Can't wait. I know what I keep thinking. The original date was the 17th of June, and it would have been gone 2 weeks today. Well, on Saturday, so it's like I've savoured the moment. The moment's been saved.
You've got that extra ambition there. It's going to be a really good night.
Savannah's enjoying it now. It's unbelievable. She's had those big moments now in her career. This is the 4th time headlining. Incredible. And so she can enjoy it now. She's used to it. I think that experience in October, you can't buy that. Most fighters will never, ever experience that sort of pressure, that sort of attention. Savannah's done it now. She's going to be a better fighter for it. I think we're going to see a career best performance on Saturday night.
Enjoying it? Are you actually able to enjoy these fight weeks now?
Can you not tell? No, I don't hate it. It's part and parcel of it. Do you know what I mean? It's no offence, it's the same questions, but it's what you've got to do. So I've just learned to live with it.
So Ben, one for you. When we spoke in Bournemouth, I remember saying to you it's kind of an unusual fight week for you, that, because you had both fighters. So whatever happens, you won. This is different. And if Savannah wins, then what could potentially happen afterwards? Obviously, it's another huge fight. So how is it for you this week?
Yeah, it's different this week. This week is one of the weeks where you are nervous. I admit I enjoy it when I have both fighters, and you can really enjoy it. But the journey with Savannah's been one of our first ones. It's been incredible. We've grown, she's grown. Like, we were a small promotional company when she signed, and it was the first time that she headlined with us. So it's been a special journey. It will continue long beyond this fight, and yeah, it's obviously nerves kick in, but Savannah's a top quality fighter. I'm extremely confident on Saturday night, and yes, it's a tough fight, but we took this fight for a reason, and we want to show how good Savannah Marshall is, and as you say, set up what would be an enormous fight next year.
Just one for you, Savannah. Do you feel like you know... It's always a bit dangerous to feel like you know what your opponent is going to do, but do you really expect her to start quick? Because all the evidence is there that she will.
Every fight she's had, first 4 rounds, she comes flying and then blows a gasket. Every fight she's had. Unless she's totally changed her training, who knows, but that's what I'm expecting.
Are you looking to really put on a show on Saturday and make a statement?
I just want those belts. That's what I want. I've got another chance to get them in a one, so I just want those belts.
Are you someone that envisages that? Do you picture that in your head?
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. I've been like that. Get me photo took at the end, all sprawled out round here.
Well, best of luck. We're really looking forward to this fight. It's going to be a cracker, isn't it? We'll let you go and do all your other media commitments, which you oh so love doing. Thanks, Ben.
Thank you.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because the Savannah that we've seen over the last sort of year or 2 years has grown so much. But it's just interesting here. She's very honest, isn't it? Like, she's still not a massive fan of fight week, but it's something you just have to do.
Yeah, some fighters are like that, and there's no pretending, I don't think, when it's a fight this size, because you have to do that much of it that kind of steeling yourself to get really involved in it when it's not your thing is.
And you've got to keep your emotions, your energy in check as well.
That in itself just takes a bit too much effort to kind of pretend that you're really into something when you're not. But today was what we thought it was, which was that she just didn't want to sit there again and listen to the same stuff. She just felt, no, I'll say my piece. Yeah, I'll say my piece today, and I think I think it was the right thing to do, because I'm not sure that her opponent was necessarily expecting it. We just got another really good personality clash, and they're great. You know, Alicia Baumgartner, Michaela Mayer was great. Shields Marshall was great. This is great, and on the undercard as well. We were
Natasha Jonas, great as well. Wyatt, great.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's set up. I think it's set up really nicely.
Broader cards before we go. Who are you most looking forward to watching?
I think it's probably Zach Shelley and Mark Jeffers. I like Callum Simpson against Boris Crichton as well, but I think Mark Jeffers, he is a live dog in this fight, and he's a hungry dog, because he's been out injured, he's had to wait his turn, and he knows that this is a big opportunity. And I said to him yesterday that the good thing about something like this is that, you know, obviously you think you're going to win, but win, lose or draw, your stock can increase. And he just kind of looked at me sideways a bit, as if to say, I'm not really thinking about it like that. I'm definitely going to win, and I bought that. I believe that. I believe that he believes that, and that's important.
And it's always interesting to see Ben Whittaker. We all want to see what he's going to do, how he's going to walk out. You know, there's a lot of intrigue always around his performances, isn't there?
Yeah. You know, he is. After his last fight, I was going back to my room in the hotel, and it turns out that he was basically rooming next to me. So he was in the corridor chatting to Jordan Grant's training team, Jerry Higgins' trainer. And so I stuck around there for 20-25 minutes, and I really enjoyed it. You know, he is a respectful guy. He does his thing, but ultimately he respects all fighters. And we had a really nice conversation, the three or four of us, just about boxing in general and the things they go through and all that kind of stuff. So it's difficult not to be excited about Whittaker, because sometimes somebody comes along about whom everyone says the same thing. Like every amateur fighter I've spoken to who shared the gym with him or the ring with him, they all say the same thing. Like, he's just so good. He needs to keep his feet on the ground, listen to his trainer, stay injury-free, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, he's one of those people that is a star in the making. It's a brilliant card. We would love your company on Saturday night. We're going to have the weigh-in tomorrow. Very much looking forward to that. But we're going to be across all the channels on Saturday night. You have no excuse. 7 o'clock. Join us then.